Hey, greedy salutations. Good morning. What's going on? It's The Drive. Devin, Dixon, Paulie Ratliff in the local guys. Time to have a little 2 hours of nonstop sports fun for you on a terrific Super Tuesday edition of The Drive. 99.5, 95.3 St. George, 93.1 up in Cedar City. What's going on in Iron County this morning? Of course, 1400 in Parowan. You can always listen live on our website, our mobile app, or you can watch the show. We are up and streaming on YouTube.
Yes.
Tara's on vacation. I'm producing the show today. Who knows? But I think we're live.
I think
we're
so
live.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a good show on tap and obviously a lot of stories to get to. Some NHL, some college football, a little college basketball. Black Monday was yesterday in the National Football League. I wanted to lead with that. I was very bummed. Okay, I was really bummed that the Raiders have done it again.
Yeah.
The Raiders have done it again. They have went out and they have paid a coach not to coach. Again and again and again and again, Paulie. And Pete Carroll, as much success as he's had as a coach at 74 years old, one and done. One and done. Mark Davis, Tom Brady, they decided they'd seen enough. And I think Pete kind of saw the writing on the wall when he tried to let go of Chip Kelly in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator. That did not work out for the Raiders or Pete Carroll.
Yeah, he was the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yeah. And obviously, you open up the search now, and this becomes a reoccurring trend in Las Vegas. It's giving up on coaches really quickly and moving on to the next guy. When does this stop? When do you stop firing a guy after 1 or 2 seasons in Las Vegas and actually say, you know what, let's stick with a guy for a while? Yeah, I thought Pete might get another year. I'll be honest. I thought Pete Carroll. I don't know. Maybe he lost the locker room. Maybe he didn't. But I cannot believe that they're going to pay Pete $16 million extra in retirement fund after one season, Paulie.
That's crazy. But the Raiders and Mark Davis have done this over and over and over again now. So I saw a tweet this morning from ML Football, and Mark Davis and the Raiders will be spending $50 million on coaches that are fired next year.
$50 million.
Antonio Pierce, $8 million. Josh McDaniels, $10 million. John Gruden, $10 million. Pete Carroll, the full 4 more years of the deal at $16 million. And Chip Kelly was the highest paid OC in the NFL last year at $6 million. So this is exactly what causes organizations to be set back financially. I know Mark Davis is a well-off guy. He's probably not hurting, but it's still just bad business practice to pay all these guys not to work. So, and it also narrows the pool, I believe, for who they can hire next. I mean, who's going to take this guy seriously in Mark Davis? I mean, every single coach gets 1 year and they're gone.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's hard to buy into a guy that just seems a little bit trigger happy with firing coaches. So
$50 million. You're paying coaches not to coach. $50 million.
Yes. It's a lot.
And look, it's a great fan base, but they have been starved for wins. They have been absolutely starved for wins. And after Black Monday arrived in the National Football League, it was just past noon on the East Coast, and we already had 3 coaches, Raheem Morris, Kevin Stefanski, and Pete Carroll, that had all been fired. We know more got added to that list after the fact. And there's a bunch of hot names right now, a bunch of coordinators that are hot names. Here's the thing about coordinators right now. If you're wanting a hot coordinator to interview for the job, you cannot have an interview with them until after January 19th.
Yeah.
There's some rules that slow this process down a little bit in the national. So you like what Matt Nagy's done. You like what Clint Kubiak's done. You like what Jesse Minter's done. You like what Robert Sala's doing back as the DC in San Francisco. You think it was maybe just a fluke in the New York Jets market as the head coach where they didn't have much to work with, and you want to give him another shot. You can't even have a face-to-face interview with them until January 19th. Okay, that's still 2 weeks away, basically, Paulie. 15 days away.
And it's crazy, some of the guys that are getting looks at head coaching jobs. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, the Commanders' offensive coordinator, after flaming out in Arizona, he's one of the more talked about names. He's been interviewing with multiple teams. Cliff Kingsbury, Vance Joseph, he's had a head coaching job before.
He's been great in Denver.
He's been a great defensive coordinator, but is he a good head coach?
Yep.
I mean, Cliff Kingsbury proved he wasn't in Arizona, but he's getting a second shot. Vance Joseph, Packers DC Jeff Hafley, he's kind of a hot name. Chris Shula from the
Chris Shula's done an incredible job as the coordinator of the Rams.
Yeah.
He's done a really good job with that defense. Clint Kubiak's done a really good job with the offense of the Seattle Seahawks. 14 wins this year.
Like you said, Kubiak's a hot name. Mentor's a hot name.
Here's the reason I think there might be something to that in Vegas, because the Raiders are picking first in the NFL draft and very likely a quarterback.
Yes.
And whether it's Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore from Oregon, they've got to figure that out. That could make it a little bit more ideal. The Raiders have historically went defensive-minded coaches as of late. Pete Carroll's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Some of these other coaches, I know Chip Kelly obviously was the OC, and that didn't work out. You had Gruden, you had some of the interim stuff there. You had, I just think Kubiak's name is kind of rising to the top of the list, given what he did in San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan as the passing game coordinator with Brock Purdy, given what he did in one season down there with the Saints, and now obviously what he did with the Seattle Seahawks. Mike McCarthy's name is a hot name right now.
Yeah.
He's been sitting this year out after his tenure in Dallas ended after last season.
And it'd be super rare. I don't think I've ever seen this in 32 years as a sports fan, but a coach could potentially be fired from one stop and be hired in another stop.
Oh,
and Kevin Stefanski.
Tennessee is already planning on interviewing Raheem Morris this weekend.
Yeah, and I'm not a believer as much in Raheem as a retread again, but I think Stefanski just was kind of strapped by roster. I think that they never had a quarterback really besides Baker in his time coaching there. I mean, Shador, Joe Flacco. I mean, there's so many different options that were just not very good. So I think Stefanski has coaching chops. I think he's a good coach. He's won Coach of the Year twice.
Led the Browns to the playoffs twice.
Yeah,
in
that's
his
something
6
that's
years.
not it's easier said than done, leading the Browns to the playoffs.
Let's be honest. He was crippled by the trade for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Which ultimately left the team without a starting quarterback and a bad salary cap situation.
Yes.
And look, the list of quarterbacks that the Cleveland Browns and Stefanski have had to work with.
Yeah. Joe
Flacco, Jacoby Brissett, Jameis Winston, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, DTR.
Yeah.
I think PJ Walker had a stint in Cleveland.
Yeah,
Bailey Zappi was a retread after he was in New England. Jeff Driscoll. Like, that is who Stefanski was working with, and he still took them to the playoffs twice and was Coach of the Year twice in his 6-year stint.
That's pretty impressive.
I think you're right.
Vikings DC, this
Brian
guy
Flores,
much talked about, had the lawsuit against the NFL years ago. He's been kind of quietly just chopping wood in Minnesota for a while as the DC. He's one of the more talked about names as well. Will he get a head coaching job this cycle? I don't know.
Well, there is a connection with Tom Brady, who is getting more involved in the Las Vegas Raiders organization during this hiring cycle, from what I understand.
Yeah.
There's history. Flores had a stint in New England that overlapped with Brady's time as their quarterback.
I just think if you're the Raiders, Pete's a defensive guy. You got to go with one of these hot offensive guys. I think Kubiak would be the best option of the ones I see here. Unless you delve into the college world, get a Lincoln Riley or some offensive mind. I just don't really see a great fit other than Kubiak.
You've got Kubiak, you've got McCarthy, you've got Mike Kafka, who's the interim coach of the Giants, Stefanski, that name has been out there. Brian Flores, Robert Saleh, Cliff Kingsbury, you mentioned his name floating around.
Yeah.
Thomas Brown, who is the passing game coordinator of the New England Patriots, is an interesting name that seems to be climbing into a lot of these discussions.
Interesting.
The Bears, when they parted ways with Eberflus midway through the 2024 season, Thomas Brown was actually their interim head coach.
Yeah.
And then he went on to be the guy that's been really instrumental in helping Drake May become an MVP candidate, top candidate. The other one that's interesting, I heard Rich Eisen throw this out yesterday. I heard Adam Schefter deflect this question, but there is some smoke, and I don't know that there's any truth to this other than it's just a hot take name that people would be interested to throw into the discussion, and that is Curt Cignetti, head coach of Indiana. What about that name as a curveball potential hire for the Raiders? I don't hate that idea at all. All he does is win. Just look him up, Paulie.
That's right. I don't think he'll move off his spot. I think he's good where he's at. And we saw
really, if Tom Brady and Mark Davis come calling and say, we need to fix the Raiders organization. Look what you've done at every stop you've made. We want you to be the next head coach.
Because if he fails, then where does he go?
Back to college.
Like
every NFL coach that fails does.
But still, why ruin a great thing? You already got a good thing
Indiana
going. Momentum's rolling. You just beat Alabama 38-3. You just got a great transfer quarterback for next year. I don't see him leaving Indiana, but that's just me. Marcus Freeman was kind of dangled the carrot by the Giants, and he said, I'm staying at Notre Dame. Like, I think the NFL can be appealing to some, but people like Cignetti, like if he continues to stay at Indiana and do what he's doing, there's going to be a statue of that guy out front of Indiana Stadium one day. So he's got a legacy to build rather than just work for the Raiders for 2 years and get fired like everybody else.
Yeah, but I don't think Cignetti's the guy that doesn't believe. I think he would he would take on any challenge. He believes that he can win
but
anywhere.
The roster is the roster. He can create his own roster in college.
Got the number one pick.
He can't do that in the pros.
Got the number one pick, and he can take his quarterback.
He can take his quarterback. He could.
You don't know how strong that relationship is.
It's only a 1-year relationship. He was at Cal the year before, so I don't know how close he is.
Mendoza seems like he's a good kid, doesn't he?
He does.
He doesn't seem like he's flashy and as outspoken. He seems more grounded and humble than, say, a Diego Pavia type persona.
Yeah, I'd say they're polar opposites.
100%. 100. Look, I mean, he was at IUP. He took a team that was coming off a losing record, and he took IUP to 7-3. He left there, went to Elon, and took a team coming off a losing record, went 8-4 his first year, and was 14-9 over 2 seasons. His next stop, he went to James Madison. 5 years, led the Dukes to 52 wins and 9 losses. Oversaw them going FCS to FBS, and they were ranked in the top 25 in their very first season of FBS.
Feels like Dan Hurley to the Lakers, though. He took an
Indiana team that was 3-9, Paulie, in 2023. Hadn't enjoyed a winning season since COVID.
But you said that Hurley would jump at the Lakers job. I remember that. You were saying he would depart UConn for the Lakers because it's the Lakers.
No,
you know?
I thought he would. But what do I always say about every coaching hire? You got to sell the wife. You got to sell the family. You got to sell them on the community.
Dan was set at UConn. I think he's fine at UConn.
Look,
they upped his salary, great leverage for him. Lakers are interested. Krzyzewski did it a million times. Every time an NBA team would come calling, he'd get a nice pay raise from Duke and just stay. But I don't think he ever had intent to leave. I don't think Hurley has any intent to leave. I don't think Cignetti has any intent to leave.
No, he's in the middle of a national championship run. Even
Win
if
or
he
lose,
did,
I think he's staying.
Even if he did, he would be dumb to say it. Because he's got leverage, he's got a long-term upside on a contract. He hopes they come after him. And if he does indeed want to stay and he loves Indiana and his family settled in.
You know, just use it as a pay raise, just like Kalani did with Penn State. I think Cignetti could do it too. I think the actual probability that he jumps from Indiana to the Raiders or Titans or Browns or one of these terrible teams is less than 20%.
Hey, look, it's a fascinating storyline, okay? At least give me that. You're shooting this down.
Yeah.
But Cignetti, they're saying he's an outlier. Like, I think he should be the first call. I love what Curt Cignetti is.
Maybe call Nick Saban too, right?
No, I want Cignetti.
Okay,
I want Cignetti. I'm sorry. I just feel like Nick.
It was a joke.
I
was
know.
Just kidding.
I know.
And he tried the NFL and flamed out. Went back to college. Even the greatest college coach of my lifetime did the Dolphins. He tried in the NFL and didn't cut it. So why would Cignetti risk it? Why risk his legacy? Why risk his untainted winning record and go to the Raiders or the Browns or one of these terrible teams? That's the question I pose to you. And I mean, if you got a good answer for me, then I'll listen. But I don't think you do, because there's no reason for Curt Cignetti to leave Indiana. That's pretty much what I'll stand on. So I think they're going to go for a coordinator. They're going to go for a hot coordinator, one of these big names in the coordinator circles, whether that be Minter or Cliff Kingsbury or one of these guys, Brian Flores. I think that'll be one of the guys that lands the Raiders job, because I think they're falling on hard times hiring big names. I think big names are not Pete Carrolls of the world, guys that were great coaches at one time. They're going to look the other way at the Raiders job going forward, because they see the stability is not there. You get 1 to 2 years and then you're blown out. So, I think the Raiders are going to have to hire who's going to want to work for them, because I think the pool is a little more limited than some other teams.
You got to remember,
Dan Snyder was like this too.
Tom Brady, the way he looks at Mark Davis, I mean, he needs some say in this thing.
He could be a Band-Aid, but Davis is the owner. You know, you got to work for Mark Davis at the end of the day. And Pete found out. Antonio Pierce found out. I think Josh McDaniels was a bad head coach, but he found out. I think that you have a very short shelf life with the Las Vegas Raiders if you don't win. And, like, the roster's not there. So I kind of have a lot of beef with how Mark Davis is running the Raiders organization. He's running it into the ground. I mean, and Al Davis towards the end was struggling as well, but I think he was a better owner than his son. I mean, Mark has proven to be kind of a mess as an owner.
You know, you've got a rookie quarterback in Dante Moore or Mendoza that's going to be the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Brady needs to have a little say. Mark Davis obviously can't hire the right guy to save his life.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're paying Pete $16 million not to coach. You better get this right. I don't think I'm crazy thinking Cignetti would be worth a shot. Compared to what they've done, I don't think it's
worth a shot.
I mean, you want to say it's a curveball, it's coming out of left field, you want to downplay it. I actually think he should be the leading candidate. I don't know why. I just think that would be a fascinating storyline.
It could be.
It makes me excited to think that the Raiders could have Cignetti. I don't know why I believe in Cignetti. I just look at his track record. I look at what he's done this year. Anybody want to count him out? I mean, I know it's tough to beat a team twice. They got Oregon coming up later this week. It's going to be a great game.
It will be.
But look, Cignetti to the Raiders is probably the most fascinating coaching discussion in the hiring cycle so far, if you ask me. And do you really get excited talking about Robert Saleh going back to the coaching ranks?
But there's no,
or Brian Flores going back to the head coaching ranks. That we've seen that and it's failed. But we haven't seen Cignetti. That's why I think it's actually got more traction than you might believe. You might think.
Yeah. I just haven't even thought of that. I mean, Rich Eisen's saying it, but that's really
Schefter's deflecting, and he's like, I don't know that there's any truth to that. I don't even think the Raiders have reached out to Cignetti. I'm just saying that's a name with the number 1 pick in Vegas that I think a lot of people are excited about that might actually, have the Raiders take a look and kick the tires. That's all. I would kick the tires. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of these accounts on Twitter, the ones that are the clickbait accounts that want you to read their stuff. Should the Giants hire Curt Cignetti as their next head coach? Should the Raiders,
they're thinking about it. Yeah,
yeah. People are putting it out there. You know, so it's being theorized.
Honestly, I don't think there's that many great coaching candidates on the market right now. I'm surprised that we're to where we're at, and that we've already had this many vacancies, and there could be 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
I mean, we still don't know Harbaugh's fate, although I don't think Baltimore will move on from Harbaugh. It's been a long time since he's won a Super Bowl. It's been, over a decade.
Yeah.
They missed the playoffs on a kick that had people yelling rigged, but poor Loop, man. That guy was getting blown up the last 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for him.
So Brian Callahan is out in Tennessee. If you haven't been paying attention, Tennessee had the number 1 pick in the draft last year. They drafted Cam Ward. He couldn't even make it through the season. Same with Brian Daboll. They seem to have their quarterback in Jackson Dart, though. He takes over for Russell Wilson. We saw a brief stint with Jameis Winston when Dart was hurt, and then we saw Dart stay healthy down the stretch and finish the season and win a meaningless game and cost themselves a shot at the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Raheem Morris is out in Atlanta. Kevin Stefanski is out in Cleveland. Pete Carroll is out in Las Vegas. And Jonathan Gannon was the one that probably about, I don't know, when we get news just before noon Mountain Time that he was let go in Arizona after 3 years. And pretty rocky tenure in Arizona. Helped the Eagles win a Super Bowl, then went to Arizona. Never posted a winning season. They went 4-13. Then they went 8-9, and then they went 3-14. So what is that? 15-36. I don't think after 3 years you can really blame the organization and the owners for making a change in Arizona.
I don't think
that
so.
one to be expected.
They're pretty stagnant at this point.
Well, there's a quarterback situation to sort out there, too. Is Jacoby Brissett really your guy moving forward over Kyler Murray, or are you looking for other options as your signal caller in Arizona? Because Trey McBride is the best tight end currently in the NFL.
Yeah, he is. And I think Brissett had good chemistry with him, but I think that the Cardinals are still going to be looking for their next quarterback, I think, because Jacoby Brissett, he's at the twilight of his career. He's towards the end, and you're obviously going to move on from Kyler Murray, but at the same time, you got to have a contingency plan set up. And does that mean the Cardinals are drafting a quarterback? I'm not sure. Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, really the only 2 guys worthy of the pick that high that they're going to garner. So, I think it's hard, but when you hire a new coach, at least he can pick his own quarterback, and they're kind of tied together throughout their time. So whoever the Cardinals coach is has to make a decision on if it is Brissett for another bridge year, or do they want to go ahead and draft one this year? Because they do have a really high pick. What are the Cardinals picking in the draft, like 4 or something? Let me look.
Yeah, it won 3 games.
Cardinals
They
draft.
won 3 games. So I haven't memorized the draft board yet.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the board.
I know your
they
team
have the 3rd pick.
Third
pick.
So it's Raiders, Giants,
Cardinals,
and then Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's obvious flaws with every team that is hiring a coach after Black Monday yesterday.
Yeah.
And the one thing that is really, really pertinent to this conversation is everybody except for the New York Giants, I think, has a quarterback situation. Cleveland, what is Shadur the future? Dylan Gabriel the future? Who's the future there?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson still under contract for 1 more season for $46 million fully guaranteed. What? I mean, that's a mess, right? Tennessee, the quarterback situation. I mean, Cam Ward's the number 1 pick. Got a lot of learning experience as a rookie. Doesn't really have a lot of talent around him. The jury's still out on that. The team belongs to Ward, but Will Levis is still there, who was the 33rd pick. I don't know exactly what the salary cap situation is in Tennessee. Raheem Morris is already getting a first interview from the Titans this week, so we'll see. The Raiders quarterback situation is just downright terrible right now.
Yeah.
The decision to trade and extend Geno Smith, that smacks the organization. They were trying to gap fill instead of just rebuild with Aiden O'Connell or Kenny Pickett. I don't know that there's much reason for Kenny Pickett to re-sign with the Raiders for another season.
Probably not. Probably got to bring in a whole new cast of characters.
Well, and Max, your Pro Bowl defensive end, Max Crosby's been a loyal Warrior, but he was not happy at the end of the season when they put him on the shelf. So you got a mess there, and you don't know if you can keep Crosby, but you do have the number 1 pick in the draft. I mean, you look at Raheem Morris in Atlanta getting fired, the quarterback situation there. Well, you sign Kirk Cousins to that massive deal, and then you go with Penix. And then Cousins comes in when Penix gets hurt, and they actually won their last 4 games.
Yeah.
Raheem Morris didn't lose the locker room with the backup quarterback.
No. And, the 4-game win streak to end the season, the Pitt started to come alive. Like, Bijan was huge. Like, seemed like the
Drake
offense,
London got healthy again. Remember, he was hurt.
And that James Pierce, the guy from Tennessee that had all the character issues and stuff like that, he led the rookie class in sacks with 10.5. So There's some pieces in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
So whoever coaches that team could be like a Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr type thing, where Jackson has them close a bunch of years, and then Kerr comes in with an already finished or somewhat finished roster, takes them over the top. I'm not saying the Falcons are winning a Super Bowl, but they can win a division. They can win the NFC South with how bad that division is next year. But they got to find the right guy to lead them.
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback situation in Arizona is sticky. I mean, the reports are Kyler Murray, freelances too much. He doesn't dive into his craft and rep the locker room, as the leader of this team. Huge cap hit on that. I mean, just the one trend with all these coaching vacancies after Black Monday is the quarterback situation, except for the Giants, and Jackson Dart's still just going into his second year, but it looks like he's the guy. That's the only one that I can guarantee you I know who the starter is day one next year out of those 6 franchises, no matter who the head coach is. Right?
Yeah.
Can we agree on that?
I'd agree.
Because whoever gets hired in Cleveland, I don't think it's a lock that Shedeur is just the guy. I mean, God, he takes some horrible stacks. Sure, he's got big arm talent.
Yeah, he does.
But other than that, I'm not. I mean, I was high on Shedeur in the draft, and I don't know. His pocket presence, he got a long way to go.
But he's a Sanders, like you said.
He's got moxie. He's a Sanders. I think he'll put in the work.
Yeah.
I don't think
I was a big Dion fan, but I just didn't think Shedeur would translate too well. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, good stuff. Off and running. Glad you're with us here. Terrific to have you into the Findlay Hyundai Studios on a Tuesday. Hey, just a heads up, Fabulous Freddy's is celebrating 25 years serving Southern Utah. Happy anniversary, Fabulous Freddy's. What are they doing? They're passing on the savings to you. Free car washes today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday for everyone. Paulie, how's your car looking? We've had some rain come through the last few days.
I need one. Someone actually wrote on the dust on the back of my car, wash me.
No way.
Yeah, I left it at home, or I left it here during my trip home, and I don't think I've gotten a car wash since. So the dust stacking up a little bit.
Free car washes today. And get this, how much gas do you have in your rig right now?
Oh, I'm pretty close to full. I just filled up.
Okay, because if you're less than half a tank, you probably want to go top off after your car wash because they're giving 25 cents off per gallon of gas all week to celebrate 25 years serving Southern Utah. That's good at both of their locations in St. George, Bluff Street, or River Road. Got to take a break. Back in a flash. Talk a little bit about the Utah Mammoth, how they do last night when we come back. Also, later in the show, big night in girls high school hoops tonight. Some marquee matchups. Boys slate getting ready for tomorrow night. And a lot more. We got some college football playoffs. We got some big college basketball games on a Super Tuesday to get you ready for. So we are loaded on the Fan Sports Network. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Good morning. Fan Sports Network, Devin, Dixon, Paulie Ratliff hanging out on a Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Show today brought to you by our good friends at Game Day Men's Health. Paulie, Game Day Men's Health got a free offer. They want to say thank you for their first year in business serving Southern Utah. They've got a free offer for you all month long. Absolutely no strings attached. It's a free body composition scan. So it's going to tell you a bunch of things, where your muscles are strong, what your percentage of body fat is, what your BMI is, so on and so forth. It's a complete scan. It's a $35 value, absolutely free. All you got to do is stop on by. You don't even have to have an appointment. You can walk right in to their Game Day Men's Health location on Four Master Drive in the Coral Desert Medical Center. They're on the second floor. You'll find them. Game Day Men's Health, helping you look and feel your best. Paulie, what is the slogan over at Game Day?
Reclaim your game.
Very good.
Yeah.
Memory. Very low on energy. I needed more energy on that one. Reclaim.
There you go.
Come on.
There you
go. Come on, Paulie. Devin and Paulie hanging out with you here. We've got a couple things. One, a win last night for the Utah Mammoth. And then two, want to get into the loss last night, the fourth straight loss for the Utah Jazz. Mammoth, Paulie, huge game last night. Huge game last night. This was incredible. This is the end of the game. For anybody watching the show streaming on YouTube, you'll be able to see the game winner here. Paulie, I want your reaction. Take a look for everybody watching the show this morning. This was clutch. Although, Paulie, I'm on the wrong screen for you.
That's all right.
Yeah,
buddy.
I know.
We're working through it. Working through it as we don't have Tara here.
You know what? You're right.
You're doing the best.
All right, take a look. Might help if I had audio.
I think the Adobe. There we go.
Okay. That was the game winner. You saw it. We need to get it on there again. We also...
See, there's a lot going on over there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is
That's why I let you volunteer.
That's right. Notice Paulie's not sitting in the captain's chair this morning.
That's right.
I forgot to turn the music bumper down. Oh my goodness. Okay. Are you ready for the game winner now?
Yes. Sean Dursey.
Schmaltz out high. Dursey tried to get it across. And now Krause for Schmaltz. They put it home. Sean Dursey.
106 into overtime. How about that for the Utah Mammoth beating the Rangers last night?
And they controlled play. I watched pretty much the entire game, and they controlled play. The Rangers' 2 goals came on the power play, and then the Rangers got another power play with like 3 minutes left in the game in regulation, and the Mammoth got a huge kill, to thwart the Rangers' late game efforts. It goes to OT, and the Mammoth, one of the better OT teams in the league with all that speed and young legs.
Yes.
So, I knew once they made it to OT, it was over for the Rangers, because let me look this up, but I think the Mammoth are undefeated in overtime this year. So maybe gone to the shootout once. So let me look. OT.
Yeah, check on that. I'm not sure on that.
I'm going to make sure here.
It's been a really fun year for the NHL. I don't know how much our listening audience is in on the Mammoth or still in on the Knights, kind of like I am. I know, Paulie, you've been up to some Mammoth games and excited about them. I'm still kind of diehard, with the Knights, and not that I don't root for the Mammoth to do well. It's just kind of got sucked into the Knights, and that's the team that I watch about every Vegas Golden Knights game. Of course, they didn't play last night. Watched the game prior, though. They lost in overtime. The standings in the NHL are interesting right now. The MVP race is interesting right now. I actually think Celebrini's got a shot at it. I know McKinnon might be the leading candidate right now.
Yeah.
But there's some really fun things happening around the league. Mammoth are relevant. I mean, they're sitting in that Central in 4th. They got 43 points. So they're kind of hanging in there. The unfortunate thing for the Mammoth is Colorado is just absolutely 100% the best team in hockey right now, and is running away with that Central division.
That's right. They're not going to be in the mix to win the division championship, but they should be trying to pinpoint either one of those top 3 spots in the Central or a wild card. I think the wild card's a little more.
Yeah, Dallas and Minnesota have
feasible.
separated a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Minnesota's good.
But yeah, they are. They lost last night though.
Yeah, they did.
To the LA Kings.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprising one for me, but
yeah, that division with Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, right there behind them is the Utah Mammoth, sitting there with 43 points, 4th in the Central. If you put the Mammoth in the Pacific, they would be right there in the mix to win that division because the Knights and the Oilers are tied atop the division with 46 points.
wow.
Okay, they would be just 3 points back.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Pretty incredible.
Put them in the Metro in the East, they'd be 7 points back. They'd be 8 points back in the Atlantic. So, look, they're playing arguably in the toughest division in hockey with the Avalanche, the Stars, and the Wild. Since the Wild made that big trade, they have really become a factor. And if you want a long shot or if you want to take a future bet right now, I don't know if I could think of a better team to put $20 on to win it all other than Minnesota.
Yeah, they got some real momentum rolling right
Somebody
now.
knocks off Colorado, Minnesota gets hot at the right time. I could see them winning a cup this year. I think they have that much talent. The Wild do.
Yeah, they're super talented.
Kraken are relevant this year, which is making hockey fun for the newest NHL team.
That's right. They won last night 5-1. Tara's happy.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got 45 points. And third.
They're doing all right.
In the Pacific.
They were struggling there for a while, but they've kind of righted the ship.
They've won 3 straight.
Yeah.
And that helps. When you win 3 straight, you can pop back up there, and they've shot up to 3rd in the Pacific right now. So Mammoth were winning last night, played that game winner for you. Meanwhile, Jazz lose their 4th straight, Paulie. They lose by 20 in Portland to the Blazers, the team they were closest to tracking down in the Northwest Division. They couldn't get it done on the road. Lowry led the way with 22 in the loss for the Jazz. And like I mentioned, that's 4 straight losses for the Jazz.
Yeah. It's not good.
Yeah.
But expected.
137-117 was the final. Nurkic is playing well, 21-12 for Nurkic.
Yeah, he is playing really well.
22 for Lowry, 15 for Keontae, 4 assists, but 4 turnovers. Lowry had 5 turnovers last night. That's a bit too many, although he tried to make up for it. He had 3 steals.
Have you heard about speaking of the Jazz, this is kind of the first thing that comes to mind, but the Adam Silver's new anti-tanking policies that were released late in the year last year, right towards the end of December, they came out with this. But they're not going to allow. On December 19, 2025, all 30 teams received notification of this initiative, exploring options like modifying draft pick protections, revising lottery rules, preventing teams from landing top 4 picks in consecutive years, or freezing lottery positions after March 1. So this will apply to the Jazz. Because what pick did they have? The 5th? So they will have a chance to get a top 4 pick. Never mind. I thought that this would play in, but it's not. But the tanking, I think they're trying to stop because teams like the Wizards are clearly tanking.
Yeah.
I mean, they're clearly trying to get the first pick.
And they're clearly not very good, too.
I mean, they're really young and not very talented, but they've got a few pieces. They shouldn't be as bad as they are, but they're
in total rebuild.
They've won single-digit games this year.
Jazz are in total rebuild.
But the Jazz have won more games this year.
Yeah, they're
I think
12-23 right now.
How many of the Wizards
12 wins, 23 losses. They've got one more road game. They're in the middle of this road swing. They had L.A., then Golden State, then Portland. They got to go to OKC, who's actually lost 2 straight and kind of sliding a little bit. OKC got throttled by Charlotte last night.
Yeah.
By
27. Yeah,
plus,
I saw that.
Yeah. Like, what the heck's going on with OKC? Jazz will see them tomorrow night.
But I don't think the Jazz, unless the balls bounce their way, are going to get the first pick. There's a lot of teams at the bottom of the league this year. The Wizards have 9 wins. The Pacers have 6 wins. The Kings have 8. The Pelicans have 8. Like, there's 4 or 5 teams, believe it or not, worse than the Utah Jazz this year. And that may have been hard to believe previously, but Realistically, they're not the bottom of the barrel. They are they're a tier above those 4 teams I just mentioned: the Kings, Pelicans, Pacers, and Wizards, all with single-digit wins on the season.
Good stuff. It's kind of bittersweet when you talk about a mammoth win. They're kind of rolling up to 3rd in the division behind Colorado and Dallas.
Yeah.
Talking about the Jazz still in the cellar in the Northwest Division, getting beat by 20 in Portland.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel like this is a bad spot for the Jazz going to OKC after they've lost 2 straight and got throttled by Charlotte. Like, what's going on with OKC? It seems like a get-right opportunity for the Thunder tomorrow night.
Yeah, it could be.
And, of course, Ace Bailey didn't play again last night.
Yeah, that's been one of the more disappointing storylines is his health in the early season. We haven't really gotten to unwrap that new toy as much as I thought we would.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean,
kind of teased in the summer league, teased in the early season, but
he started 21 games, so he's played in 21 of the 30. I think is the number, averaging 10.4 points per game.
Yeah.
3.3 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and 1.2 turnovers a game. So turnovers are fairly low, but when he's been out there, he's been averaging 23 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So they're trying to play him, but yeah, he was a no-go last night.
Left hip strain is what we're dealing with for Ace. So that could be kind of temperamental, lingering type injury. Yeah.
Could be a bone
5
strain.
straight games for a hip. Could be a little more serious than just some bruising and stuff. So,
but is there really a rush to get him back?
No.
It's a long season.
You want to get him as many reps as you can, but at the same time, if he's not 100% or ready to go, then I kind of agree.
I'm gonna say I expected more. I'm going to be brutally honest with our listeners. I expected more.
Yeah.
I think there was more excitement than 10.4 points a game and 3.3 rebounds a game.
I think there was a lot more excitement preseason, and I was definitely leading the cavalcade of cheers for him because I thought he was the second best player in the draft.
And he's turned out to be. These are numbers that's more of a project. This is a project number. This is not a superstar rookie season. 10-3, Paulie. I don't know that Jazz fans can be ready to cut bait or anything like that, but you can't be overly excited about what you've seen so far. You've seen flashes of the potential, enough to keep you excited and keep you optimistic. But we've also, the stats are the stats, and it's not as good as Jazz Nation probably expected so far.
Yeah, and I mean, you always got to put things in perspective, right? Alex Sarr, who was familiar to me because he was with the Wizards.
Sure,
his rookie. Two pick. He averaged 13 points a game his rookie year, the entire season. 6.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. So, I mean, those are better numbers as a whole, but Ace only 3 points off his scoring pace, and that's the number 2 pick. And
there's still time to get that up.
And that draft was weak. What was the guy who went number 1? Zachariah Risache,
yeah, Frenchman.
I want to see his stats too because sometimes
he went to Atlanta.
He did. And sometimes people can be a little underwhelmed with Ace, but I think that he is producing right about what you expect for a guy just breaking into the NBA. Risache's first season, 10.8 points per game. So he's a half point off that average. So that's a number 1 and number 2 pick in a previous draft. So
what's Edgecombe averaging?
That's a good question.
What's VJ Edgecombe averaging? What's Cooper Flagg averaging? Look at the comps in his draft. The drafted a couple spots before him. That's a fair comparison. I see what you're doing there because they're going to similar teams. So I like your analogy. I think that was an optimum.
16.5. So he's a good bit better than Ace right now. He was a little more pro ready, and you thought
he can create a shot more easily than Ace.
I would agree. And his rebounding numbers are better than Ace's too right now. So, and that's where Ace he's got a lot of height, so he should be a better rebounder than VJ Edgecombe. But to this point, he's not.
Look, Kyle Filipowski, who was a second-round draft pick in his second season, is averaging 9.5 points and 6.1 rebounds. So, that seems like, for a second-round draft pick, more of what you'd expect. And Ace just feels just a little lackluster to this point. Still time to get those numbers up, though. Still
plenty of time
to improve. All right, got to get to a timeout. Come back. We'll wrap up hour one. The portal is hopping in college football. How many players per team in the Big 12 are in the portal? We'll tell you when we come back. It's The Drive. Good morning. Glad you're with us here from the Finley Hyundai Studios. Congratulations, by the way, to the Pineview Panthers. Jelani Ojegba was the December Jimmy John's highlight of the month. Okay, nice dunk, and won the voting we had over the weekend. And so Jimmy John's is going to cater and get with Coach Pat Amico and cater lunch, Jimmy Chips, Jimmy John's, Jimmy Sandwiches, Jimmy Drinks, Jimmy Cookies for the whole team. Keep those nominations rolling in. We're already looking for this week's Highlight of the Week, brought to you by Jimmy John's. If you submit it on our website, thefansportsnetwork.com, we choose your highlight to feature as the highlight of the week. We're going to give you a $100 gift certificate to Jimmy John. So get those cameras rolling. Help us find these local plays to highlight. And we'll talk about the Big 12 and the college football portal a little bit when we come back here on the Fan Sports Network.
The Drive.
Slingshot engage.
Revving up your morning. Now on the Fan Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Devin, Dixon, Paul Ratliff. Show today brought to you by Coral Canyon Golf Course. Get on out there. $80 this month. You get the golf. You get the range balls. Lunch. $80. I mean, it was 64 degrees yesterday, Paulie, and the rain has lifted. It's not raining currently.
Yeah.
I don't think rain probably till Thursday. Got a couple days maybe with no rain here. So I know Brian had got some freshy snow. I think 7 inches in the last 24 hours or so up there. So if you can play hooky on a Tuesday, might be able to get some fresh powder up at Brian Head. You a big snowboarder, skier? Did you ever do that when you were growing up?
I've tried skiing. I never was really into it, though.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Don't have a lot of time. Want to dive into this for just a second here. The Big 12 portal. What does it look like today, Paulie? Or as of yesterday? This is as of yesterday because things are always, changing. But I think pretty much everybody's either decided they're in the portal or they're staying put at this point in time, right? Like I don't think there's too many more additions. Could be some onesies, twosies. Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy.
Yes.
And there's a bit of mass exodus there.
Yes.
They lead the Big 12. Guess how many players are in the portal?
It's got to be over 50, maybe 60.
60 players. And now remember last year, Utah Tech had to bring in 53 new players. That's at the FCS level, and I felt like that was a huge number. That's not going to be the case this year. But that's going to be the case at Oklahoma State. You got a changing at coach that's been there forever, and a lot of people are recruited by Gundy and his staff, and they're out.
Sure.
And it was a bad season.
It was.
Very bad season.
One of the worst seasons in Oklahoma State history.
Iowa State is not far behind them. 51 players, 51 Cyclones in the portal.
Yeah, Matt Campbell, their head coach, goes to Penn State. Rocco Beck follows him. A lot of those guys got to follow him to Penn State. That was kind of
okay, fair. But
assumed.
Kyle Whittingham just resigned on December 18th or 19th or 20th or whatever day it was, and then got hired at Michigan. And we think some players are going to follow them to Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Guess how many Utah Utes are in the portal right now?
Not many.
9.
Probably. Wow.
No. I'm sorry, 13.
13. But I think that number will grow.
Didn't you already have to opt in, or can you still add your name to the portal?
I think you can still add your name to the portal as long as the
window's still open.
Yeah, but I'd love to. Let me get some clarification. Make sure.
Yeah. Well, 13 is not 60 like it is Oklahoma State or 51. So my point is, there's a coaching change. Utah's coaching landscape has been drastically affected with, Jay Hill leaving BYU, taking his, passing game defensive coordinator with him. We know they rated Whittingham's bringing his people from Utah. We know, his brother's going, Fred's going. We know Jason Beck is going.
Players can enter or declare for the NCAA transfer portal at any time during an open window.
Yeah. Okay, so this number can change. This is as of yesterday. Yeah. These are the numbers. West Virginia, your team, Paulie, 41 players.
Yeah.
What's a roster now at West Virginia? 110?
Yeah, that's about almost half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's alarming, but West Virginia went 4-8 last year. Oklahoma State had a terrible season. Iowa State was okay. I mean, it lost their coach. So,
it's the new norm.
It's the new norm. If you have a terrible year, if you win 4 or 5 games, or you
don't get playing time and you think you deserve it, or you have a disagreement and you don't like your position coach or your head coach, you're in the portal. That's
a lot
just
of
the
these
new norm.
coaches are running players off. They
don't want them.
Rich Rod, I've been reading, is running guys off from last year's team, saying, "Hey, there's greener pastures at a smaller program for you. You need to go try and play there."
So he's trying to get better players.
He's trying to get better players.
He's running them off.
Well,
41.
41 have gone.
Colorado, Dion's got 31 that have entered the portal.
And he's had an exodus almost every year.
Have no problems bringing them back in,
That's
I don't
right.
think.
Reshuffled the deck. He's done that every year. So, I mean, this is the new norm, realistically. I mean, the 60, the 51, the 41, the 31, those are high, but at the same time, even players are programs that have had their coach, Baylor, Kansas State, Kansas, Arizona State, all have over 15 players in the portal.
The lowest in the Big 12?
Yeah, it's
They just about beat. What was the final score of the USC TCU game? TCU only has 6 players in the portal. Now, they did have a later bowl game, so that number could go up. Maybe
it was a great bowl game.
Players decide to play the bowl game and then haven't decided if they're going to the portal or not. It was one of the best bowl games.
It was.
I thought as far as competitiveness,
6 players. That's
only
incredible.
6 at TCU.
Incredible retention. One of those 6 in the portal is their starting quarterback, though. He's going to Indiana.
Yeah.
So that hurts. That hurts.
Well, they got to replace Mendoza, who'll be the number 1 or 2 pick in the draft. BYU, by the way, you got to figure Jay Hill, a couple defensive guys will probably go to Michigan with him, but only 9 in the portal right now.
That's good.
And
good
Dominic
retention.
and Marcus McKenzie, 2 former Pineview Panthers that we called games for here in Region 9, are 2 of them.
Yeah.
They're both in the portal, wanting to go somewhere and probably get a little bit more playing time. Saw Dom get some special teams time, and that was really about it this year. And they're very talented.
They are.
Speedsters.
That's right.
One on offense, one on defense. Dom on offense and Marcus on defense.
Are they a package deal in the portal?
I don't know. I mean, Marcus stayed and finished his outdoor track season and graduated with this class, where Dom went and graduated early, went on his mission so he could get back sooner. So they went different paths, but they were a package deal at Virginia. Then Bronco left to New Mexico, and then that's when they re-signed and decommitted and went to BYU.
Okay.
And now I haven't talked to Brian. I haven't talked to Dom or Marcus. I have no idea if they're trying to find something that's a package deal.
Okay.
Josh Dye and his brother at SUU are in the portal, and I haven't seen Josh announce anything yet. Have you seen Josh announce anything yet? But I gotta think there's a huge market for one of the best running backs in the entire country in the FCS.
Yeah, he's probably weighing his options.
I mean, he's gonna have to have $500,000, I would believe, to go somewhere after the season that he had. By the way, the New York Times did put out,
latest is he's taking an official to UCLA. Him and his brother.
Yeah,
so
and I wonder if they're a package deal, because his brother was the better player out of high school and the higher recruited, and now he's the better player and the more likely to get the bigger NIL deal.
Yeah, UCLA the only confirmed visit via On3, so maybe he's just taking it a little slower.
Hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 coming up when we come back. Fan Sports Network, what's going on a Super Tuesday?
Yeah. Like Super Tuesday.
Lots to talk about today, Paulie.
That's right.
Lots to talk about today.
Who's this? Good Charlotte or something?
No,
Who is this?
Brandon Urie. This is Panic of the Disco.
Oh,
Who
nice.
broke up in like the end of 2023. They're not even together anymore.
Oh, no.
Did you know that? Panic of the Disco is
I'm not a big Panic guy. I like their
What?
hits. I like the closing the
What?
whatever. That one's a good one. Closing the iconic one.
Yeah, your tune there really helped everybody name that tune very, very well.
Yeah, I feel like it. Just can't say the next verse.
I noticed. The big headlines are, the coach is getting fired in the National Football League. The other headlines out there today, we talked quite a bit about that first hour. I'm a big proponent of the Raiders looking at Curt Cignetti. If not the Raiders, maybe the Giants, somebody else. There's also Jazz losing their fourth straight last night, 137-117, 21 for Nurkic and 22 for Markkanen. Ace Bailey missed another game due to a hip strain.
Yes.
Utah Mammoth, though, got a win last night, finishing up their road trip.
Yeah, 3-2 OT winner.
Over the Rangers in New York.
Yeah, Sean Dursey. How about that? Chiming in with the OT winner.
Yeah. Is this a playoff team?
I think that they really want to believe it is, and I think that they will make a move at the deadline to try and make sure it is. But right now, I'm not sure they are. They're kind of in the middle. It's kind of a jumbled mess in the wild card and the bottoms of each division's that 3 spot. So, but not as much for the Central with the Stars, the Wild, and the Avalanche. Those 3 spots look to be locked. So the Mammoth got to be shooting for a wild card berth. They got to try and edge out some of the other wild card teams. And it'll be competitive down the stretch. Like you said, the Pacific Division, not nearly as competitive this season. But when we look at the wild card, just a brief glance at it, it looks as if the Mammoth, let's see here, they are currently just on the outside looking in on the wild card. They're at 43 points. The 2 wild card teams, the Ducks and Kings, have 45. So they're 1 game out of the wild card right now. But you want to get on the other side of that because it gets tight as the games dwindle. So
I love it. I love it. Big night in high school basketball tonight, Paulie. For the girls tonight, the boys tomorrow. By the way, Casey Winters is going to jump on the show with us. Big week for the undefeated Dixie Flyers. They've got a big week. They got Snow Canyon tonight and Desert Hills on Thursday night. And Casey's going to join us coming up here in about 8:20 this morning, about less than 15 minutes from right now. Other games in Region 9 tonight. Crimson is playing Beaver. Snow Canyon Dixie, that's kind of the marquee game. Cedar is at Hurricane, and Desert Hills is over at Pineview. So those are your Region 9 girls games tonight. So it'll be fun to have Casey on with a huge week for the Flyers. I was pleasantly surprised to see Dixie all the way up in the all-classification girls top 20 that the Des News, or top 25, to number 8. Is they're 12-0, haven't lost a game all season. Snow Canyon has been the team to beat the last couple years in the region.
yeah.
And they're currently at 9-3 on the season. So that should be a terrific game. Terrific game. You look at the girls' standings, and we're getting into the meat of Region 9 play now. This is going to be fun because Dixie and Snow Canyon are both undefeated in region play. And D Hills is 2-1 and 9-2 overall. Snow Canyon's 9-3, 4-0 in region, and Dixie's 12-0 and 2-0 in region. So here we go. Huge week with Dixie, Snow Canyon tonight. Desert Hills, Pineview tonight. They're both 2-1 in region play. Pineview's 11-3. So that game is huge as well. And then Desert Hills and Dixie will face off on Thursday. So this is going to be a real telling week, I think, to start to create a little bit more of what we think is going to be the pecking order, and maybe the RPI, and maybe this week will go a long ways towards determining a Region 9 champ. We'll ask Coach Winters how big this week is when he joins us here in just a couple of moments. Couple other things. A lot of good games tonight, Paulie, in college basketball. A few in the Big 12, in fact. I'm really interested in Houston and Texas Tech for one.
Yeah, that should be a really good game. Texas Tech. McCausland, the coach there, he's a kind of an underrated guy. Texas Tech been a good team. Chris Beard, of course, took them all the way to the national championship final against UVA back in 2018. But the program really hasn't taken a step back, despite the coaching change and all the things that go into it. But Houston is a different breed, though. I watched them this weekend play Cincinnati and escape on the road. I think they'll have something special tonight, though. That is currently 5.5 points favoring Houston. Low total, too, 143.5.
That's always the case with Houston.
Yeah.
It's always the case.
And it's at the Fertitta Center in Houston. So I think Texas Tech, that'll be a tough one. That's 7 p.m. Mountain Time on FS1. I'll be tuned into that one.
Yeah. The other game in the ACC that should be fun tonight is if you haven't seen Carlos Boozer's twin sons playing for Duke yet this year, they're up to 6th in the country in one poll, and they play number 20 Louisville on the road. That's a 5 o'clock tip-off on the mothership, ESPN.
Yeah, that should be interesting as well. So I think Louisville at 11-3, one of the surprise teams this year. Their coach last year had that amazing clip about how he, a reporter asked him, they were struggling. He was like, "Is the job hard right now, coach?" And he's just like, "You know what? I wake up every day. I get to wear sweatsuits. I got a hot wife." He had a great press conference, and he's been one of my favorites since then. I hope Louisville wins tonight. They're in Cameron Indoor, I believe, though, so that'll be tough. Oh, no, it's at Louisville.
It's in Louisville.
It's at the Yum Center.
Yep.
So,
Yum.
That should be a fun game as well.
What
5 o'clock.
They better serve good food at the Yum Center.
It's KFC Yum Center. So
Yum.
Yeah, they probably have some good stuff.
Utah State is also in action tonight.
The Force, right?
At Air Force. They're out in Colorado Springs. They are 21-point favorites against the Air Force Falcons.
Yeah.
And Utah State's humming right along.
They are.
I feel like they're not getting much attention this year because BYU has A.J. DeBonza, and they're so good.
And the Mountain West a little weaker this year across the board. Not as deep of a conference. UNLV 7-6.
I think the West Coast Conference is a better, stronger conference this year than the Mountain West.
I would agree with that. I think the WCC is better
because you still have
West.
Gonzaga. You still have a really good St. Mary's team. Seattle University has come into that conference, and they are playing some pretty good basketball. Now, I know they've struggled in the conference games so far. They lose in overtime. How about Seattle University? Welcome to the conference. Your first couple conference games, Gonzaga and St. Mary's. Good luck.
Yeah.
They took Gonzaga to overtime and lost, and then had a 2-point lead with under 12 minutes to go and ended up losing by double digits on the road at St. Mary's to Randy Bennett's team.
Yeah.
But that conference, I know Gonzaga just absolutely handled Loyola Marymount the other night, but they were a 10-4 team when they handled them. So it's still the strongest in Gonzaga and St. Mary's, but I think the rest of the conference is catching up, and there's a little bit more parity top to bottom in the West Coast Conference, and they've added some new teams to the fold. So. We'll see how tonight plays out. Only the 2 top 25 games, but you got some Big Ten games tonight. UCLA, Wisconsin. That could be a really entertaining game. You have some Mountain West games. UNLV at Wyoming, San Diego State at Nevada, Fresno State at San Jose State, among others. Like I mentioned, Utah State at Air Force.
Texas, Tennessee is pretty good in the SEC.
That is a game in which Texas is going to be big underdogs. Isn't Tennessee a top 20 team?
Tennessee will be a 10.5 point favorite in that game. Tennessee's 10-4, 21st ranked. And then the nightcap, the last ranked matchup, Kansas, 22 ranked, 10-4, kind of off to a little bit of a rough start with Darren Peterson not being in the fold, but he has come back, by the way.
Yeah, we weren't sure if he would sit out the whole season.
Yeah, there was word of him potentially trying to, save himself for the draft and maybe just sit out this whole year. But I want to say he lit it up in his debut. Let me.
But to say that this is a loaded slate of college basketball,
Yeah, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, 23 points in the first half. Didn't play in the second half due to minute restrictions. I think this guy can score like 40 a game if he wants to.
Yeah.
Like any given night. Like he's that kind of scorer. And that's why
a lot
he
of
was
people
being
think
talked
he
about
could be in the mix for
as
the number one
pick. Yeah.
Devonza
I think
is
Devonza's
leading the
proved it,
country
yeah.
in scoring right now at 23.1 points per game, though.
First game back, though, 26 points,
Who are they
23 in the
playing?
first half. UCF, not a very good team, but still a Big 12 team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this kid and Devonza will be fun to watch in conference play throughout the rest of the year.
By the way, number one, Michigan, they're on the road tonight. They take on Penn State. So there's you got number 19, Iowa, battling Minnesota. Let's see, any other ranked teams playing? Georgia, Florida, we mentioned that one. There's some good games tonight. It's a loaded slate.
It is.
Super Tuesday, baby.
And if you haven't seen Michigan,
They're good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Really good.
The first time I saw them was in that Players era of the thing in Vegas, and they were just dominating people. They are off to an undefeated start, and they have an average margin of victory around 30 points per game. They've won 6 games by 40-plus already, a Big Ten record, and we're not even all the way through the year yet.
The eyeball test tells me
They look like the best team.
I like Arizona a lot.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem this point in the season, early January, with Michigan being number one.
They beat your Zags by 40.
Yes.
They hammered them.
Yeah, that was in that tournament championship
where
game.
where you got more like standings points the more you beat a team by. So
and Gonzaga's worked their way at this only loss of the season. They're back
Yeah.
up. They're back up to 7th in the rankings.
Oh, they're really good.
That wouldn't happen if they played again. But the facts are the facts, Paulie.
Yeah.
They got throttled in that game, 100%.
They beat Villanova by 28, 18 over Maryland. I mean, they've had some big wins over Power 4 schools, major conference schools. So Michigan, a team to watch for me in the rest of the season. And I guess secret's out. They're number one, and Dusty May, who came from Florida Atlantic, has done an amazing job since who was the guy? The old Michigan coach that always got in all the verbal altercations, physical.
Steve Fisher?
No.
Juwan Howard?
Juwan Howard, yeah. This Dusty May guy, he's been an incredible upgrade for Michigan. I know they wanted Juwan to work because he's an alumni and all that, but he just really wasn't a great coach.
Yeah. Let's see. We mentioned the Mammoth overtime win.
Yeah.
Sean Dursey scores the overtime winner to give the Mammoth a 3-2 win over the Rangers in the Big Apple.
Yeah, MSG.
Dylan Gunther and Michael, was it Michael Carcione?
Carsoni.
They scored as well before Dursey hit the game winner for Utah. Here is what Dursey said about the victory last night, Paulie.
Sometimes we're playing hockey and, we're not grabbing a game and taking it. And I thought tonight we did a good job of going at being aggressive and taking, what they gave us, but doing it with intensity.
Another quote from Dursey on the win.
Emotional one. I thought we did a good job staying mentally engaged. I loved our third period. But it's how can we refocus? How can we get ready for the next one? I thought this was a big one for us, obviously, finishing the road trip off on a good note.
2 out of 3 on the road, and now 7 straight at home for the Mammoth. So time to make hay while the sun is shining, as the farmers used to say we're back in Virginia.
Yeah, as long as it's not raining.
That's right.
The hay will be okay.
Absolutely.
The hay will be okay. Jazz lose by 20 last night. They're off tonight. They go to OKC to finish up a 4-game road trip tomorrow night. OKC enters that game sliding a little bit. They've lost 2 in a row, including a 20-point loss to Charlotte, 20-plus point loss to Charlotte last night. That's what's going on. Those are your local headlines brought to you by St. George Tent Shop and Color Country Custom Coatings. Deck out your ride. They got you covered from the tent to the protective ceramic coating. Go check them out. JC and Skylar and the gang down there. St. George Tent Shop and Color Country Custom Coating. Proud sponsor of The Drive. All right, got to get to a break. Casey Winters on the other side. Big start to the season for the Dixie Flyers and a huge week tonight. They play Snow Canyon, who played for the state championship game against Ridgeline again last year. Lost that game, but they've been the team to beat in the region. but it's Dixie that's 12-0. But both teams are undefeated in region. Something's got to give tonight in that one. And then they got to play a good Desert Hills team on Thursday. So big week for the Lady Flyers. We'll break it down for you after this timeout. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's the Drive on a Tuesday, Super Tuesday, big college basketball games. You got some big NBA games, but how about locally, right here in southern Utah, girls basketball front and center playing their first games of the new year and some huge games tonight. How about Desert Hills and Pineview and Dixie and Snow Canyon tonight? Here to talk about the girls basketball and the team that is off to a sensational start this year. Head coach Casey Winters and the head coach of the Dixie Lady Flyers. Coach, good morning. How we doing? Thanks for hopping on the show with us.
Yeah, game day, baby. We're doing good.
12-0, good, man. You couldn't have scripted a better start. How have you guys got to 12-0? I see you're all the way up to number 8 in the latest all classification rankings. Of course, you're number 1 in 4A.
Yeah, I mean, our girls have played really well. Luckily, you know, we played the majority of our games at home. Our schedule is a little different than we anticipated it to be, and so, we've played some teams that, historically have been a little better than maybe they were this year. So that's allowed us to get a couple more wins. But, the girls have done a really good job. We made a run to the semifinals last year, and we've tried to capitalize on some of that momentum and just keep it going this year. And, we've done a really good job scoring the ball, and I feel like we've done a little bit better job defensively this year. And so I feel like we're ready for what's ahead this week for us.
This is a young team, Coach. What do you have? One senior on this team? Two seniors on this team?
Two seniors, Hayden Stilson and Janie Barchi, who both, contribute in major ways. And then, we start 4 sophomores, and we have a couple other sophomores that come in off the bench and a junior or two. So, you look at, the year they're in, grade they're in, and it seems like they're young, but, a lot of our younger girls have played a lot of basketball. And I think that's true for many teams around the region. It seems like, the commitment to basketball is on the up and up here in Southern Utah. And so, you've got freshmen and sophomores coming in all around the region that, are leading scorers or major contributors on each team.
You guys haven't really been tested. I mean, Provo's girls gave you a pretty good game. Timpview, some of the teams you played that are bigger classified teams, Wasatch. You've had some single-digit wins. But other than that, Coach, you guys have kind of had it on cruise control. I don't see your stats posted on Max Preps. So I'm not sure. I know Hollingshead has been great. I know Addie's been playing great. But what's a stat maybe you guys are really proud of right now with the 12-0 record? And what's one stat that you guys are looking to improve on this week as you got 3 big region games ahead of you?
Yeah, I mean, for us, scoring the ball, we have options. Like you said, I think Izzy is right at the top of 4A, and probably in the region right around 20 points a game. Addie's right around 15. And then we've got, Audrey Orton, we've got Hayden Stilson, we've got, Lydia Shirtliff, and we've got all sorts of combinations that we can use on the offensive end. Defensively, we've been getting after it. I think for us, we're probably, a little undersized, especially, when we talk about Snow Canyon tonight. So I think where we get in a little bit of trouble is not rebounding the ball as well as we should. We get a little anxious to get out and start running on the offensive end, and sometimes do that before we actually have the ball. And so I think for us, just becoming better rebounders and then jump starting our offense, after that is a major key for us.
And Coach, Devin mentioned you guys' ability that you haven't been tested much this season. And just looking at a few of your recent games, South Sevier, Stansbury, 61-28, 67-14, a 53-point margin of victory, the highest of this season. What goes into getting the ball rolling like this and the momentum to the point where you can blow a team out by 50 points? I mean, that's incredible to me.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of a double-edged sword. Take Snow Canyon, for example, they've played a really tough schedule. Obviously when I make the schedule at the beginning of each season, we think that most games are going to be competitive. And, we played Stansbury last year, and it was only about a 15-point game. And we show up this year, and 2 of their best players are no longer at Stansbury. South Sevier beat us last year. They were the 2A state champions. They graduated almost everybody, and they're not the same team. We played Canyon View, who was the 3A state champion last year, and they were competitive, but not the same team they were last year. So there's been a few games on our schedule that we thought were going to be a little more competitive, and I think some of the scores you see are just, us playing well, of course, but also our opponents are maybe a little different than we thought, but what we've been telling the girls is you just have to play who's on the schedule, and if we need to make some adjustments moving into next year on that, we will. But all along we knew that Region 9 was going to be extremely competitive. I think everyone kind of took a breath of fresh air once, Liv and Kelly and Joey were finally gone from Snow Canyon, just to realize that they have Fallon Randall and a superstar freshman, Braylee Chesley, and they haven't skipped a beat. And so Desert Hills with Coach Irvin, he's doing a great job. Coach Luce over at Pineview, he's doing a great job. Cedar's always tough. And so Region 9 is going to be a gauntlet, and, we're right in the middle of it this week where we play Snow Canyon, Desert Hills, and Pineview.
Yeah, why'd you pick up a Saturday game, Coach? Was that a tournament before Christmas that you just had to make up a region game?
Yeah, exactly. We were supposed to play Pineview on like I think it was the Thursday that we played Wasatch. We already had that event scheduled where we had 3 teams from up north coming down. And so we just said, hey, let's bump that. And so we're playing on Saturday. And that's why, like, Snow Canyon's already played 4 region games. They played Pineview, I think, the second or third game of their season. So, with the state messing with our calendar a little bit, we kind of had to adjust it a little bit. But, so we got a nightcap on Saturday night over at the Pit.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. 3 games in 5 days, basically, for the Dixie Lady Flyers, starting tonight with Snow Canyon, Thursday, Desert Hills, and then Saturday, Pineview. Those are the teams that are all right there behind you. Snow Canyon, you guys are 2-0 in region. Snow Canyon's 4-0. Desert Hills and Pineview are both 2-1 in region play. And everybody's got at least 9 wins or more in those top 4 when you look at the Region 9 girls basketball standings. So this is a gauntlet, Coach. I mean, if I told you right now you'd go 2-1, would you take it? Or are you guys trying to go undefeated to win the state championship and not lose a game all year?
Oh, I mean, we're worried about going 1-0 tonight, and but like we know it's going to be a gauntlet, and I think the girls' side is a lot like the boys' side this year, where there's going to be, I don't think there's just going to be a runaway champion. Obviously, tonight is going to play a huge part in that for both us and Snow Canyon. Plus, Desert Hills and Pineview play each other, so we're gonna know something even after tonight. But the region season is still young. But yeah, I mean we preach process. We preach just taking it one game at a time and seeing where it gets us, and we feel like we've got the roster, as long as we stay healthy, that we can make a deep run. There's a couple really good teams up in Cache Valley. You still have Ridgeline, Mountain Crest, Green Canyon beat Ridgeline, which hasn't happened up there for a long time. Provo's still really good. Cottonwood. I mean, you still have a lot to be determined, but we feel like, down in Region 9, we've got some teams that are very capable of making a deep run and bringing the title home.
And Coach, stylistically, give a snippet to the listeners for anyone who hasn't been to a Lady Flyers basketball game. The margins of victory are high, the scoring's high. What are some of the standards and the principles that these girls carry in game in, game out, and to start undefeated like you have?
Yeah, we want to play fast, and I know almost every coach says that, but we don't have a lot of size. And so, we feel it's one of our strengths to get out and run and shoot early in the shot clock and just try to create as many possessions as we can. We really challenge the girls to be in shape. And so we did a really good job, from the beginning of the season up till Christmas break. And then you take that week off and it takes some time. That's why we went and played those 3 games up at Canyon View to, get back game ready. And so, for us, it's just, we want to play hard. I mean, we want to create a little bit of chaos on the defensive end and be really solid, and then just be really hard to guard on the offensive end. And that's why we've been able to, put up some points and even hold some teams to some pretty low numbers.
What's the biggest thing that you've had to adjust to, Casey? Because you coached with Judkins at Utah Tech 2 stints. You actually played for him for a stint as well, and then you were Bear River, Crimson Cliffs, boys coach mainly, plus a lot of your AAU teams have been boys, but I do know you've been coaching the AAU girls, a lot of those sophomores that are at Dixie now, and that had a lot to do with why you decided to take this job. But what's been the biggest adjustment for you as a coach, going from the boys world at the college and high school level to the girls side of things?
And I get asked that quite a bit, and if there's one that I enjoy more than the other, and honestly, I feel like with this group of girls I feel like I haven't had to change a lot as a coach. I can still coach and I can still challenge. Obviously, I'm not drawing up any lob plays, like I could with Brock Felder or, Dalton Grosskreitz or Zach Robbins or any of those guys. But these girls are very receptive, to coaching. And the one thing that I'll say, and this is across the board, and if you haven't been to a high school girls basketball game, like you need to go. Like the talent has improved so much from, you talk about Liv Hamlin and what she's doing at BYU, and you have all these girls that are now playing AAU, and they're at Nets on Fire training, or they're at Reach Higher training. And so, I feel like girls basketball is trending upward, and it's a really, really good product. And, you see that in college, you see that in the WNBA. But for me as a coach, I've enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed any Dixie State team, Utah Tech team, high school boys team. These guys have really been a pleasure to coach, and honestly, they're typically better students. Like, I don't have to worry about grades. I don't have to worry about attendance at school. They're a really fun group to coach.
Yeah, you mentioned Olivia Hamlin, what a freshman season she's kind of been there, that 13, 14, 15 points per game. She had a couple game winners this year. Of course, Emily Skinner, the other very Miss Basketball in the state of Utah. She's at Duke, averaging like 4 and 4, although I think she's been a little bit banged up. The crop of talent at the girls level in the state of Utah, I think, is improving dramatically the last couple of years. And that sounds like what you're saying. It's getting better and better every day.
Yeah. I mean, you got girls that are playing, 30, 40, 50 games, a summer outside of their high school program, and it shows on the court. Like I said, if you go down and you look at, the leading scorers, a lot of them are young freshmen, sophomores, maybe a couple headed into their junior year. And it just goes to show that, a lot of these girls have put in a lot of work, and it's paying off on the high school stage for them.
Yeah, good stuff. Casey Winters, big week for you, buddy. Good luck tonight against the Warriors. Little chess match with Coach Hoskins tonight, and then you'll get to go against Coach Irvin on Thursday, and then Coach Luce on Saturday. And all three of those teams are kind of sitting right there, looking up at you guys at 12-0 in the standings. So you got a bullseye on your back this week, bud.
Yeah, we'll take it, and let's just say you want everybody's best shot, and we know we're going to get it from Snow Canyon. They're a fantastic team, and so this is one that we've kind of had our eye on, and for us it's just an opportunity to see how good we really are. Snow Canyon's been the standard here in Region 9 for a lot of years, and everyone's been playing catch up to them, and tonight's our chance to see if we're there or not.
All right, go get them, buddy. We'll keep an eye on it and have some fun, and no technical fouls.
Hey, I'm a 0 this year, so hopefully all the rest are listening and we can keep it that way.
That's right. He's a big, lovable teddy bear. The one and only Casey Winters, everybody. Dixie girls basketball coach, live with us here this morning. Coach, I'll probably see you on Thursday. I think I'll see you on Thursday night, and can't wait to see you in the girls play. Big week for you. Have fun out there.
Okay, appreciate you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Casey Winters, everybody, live on the drive. 12-0, Paulie.
Yeah, that's impressive.
12-0.
Very impressive.
Again, 12-0. But this week, look, tonight, Snow Canyon, they're 9-3, and they're 4-0 undefeated in region play. Okay? Thursday, Desert Hills, 9-2 team, 2-1 in region. And then Saturday, that game that they moved for the tournament before Christmas, 11-3 Pineview, 2-1 in region. So, Dixie's playing everybody that's chasing them right now. This is going to be fun. And like Casey said, if you haven't been out to a girls' basketball game, get on out there. I've been to 2 games. My daughter dances at halftime, so I've been to a couple games this year. And I know she's dancing on Thursday. That's why I'll see Dixie on Thursday. She'll be dancing at halftime, so I'll be over to that game. All right, Paulie and I got to take a break from the Findlay Hyundai Studios. Back after a message from our great local partners. everybody. We are back. What's going on a Tuesday? Not just any Tuesday. It's a Super Tuesday, January the 6th. Happy New Year. Thank you for finding us, locking us in, loading us up. If you're a longtime listener or new to the show, if you're listening on the app, the radio, St. George, Cedar, somewhere in between. If you're watching us live on YouTube, Paulie's rocking a Utah Mammoth hat tonight.
Yes.
I'm not wearing a hat.
You're not. You don't wear hats.
Paulie got some new nice headphones for Christmas, it looks like.
Yeah. Got them up and working.
Went with the white like me, huh?
Yeah, just trying to be like you, buddy.
Let's go. Let's go. Good to have you in on the drive. Fun to have Casey Winters on the show moments ago. Big week for Region 9 girls basketball. Kind of feel like that week before Christmas where we had all those big boys basketball games. We kind of get that this week with the girls basketball schedule. By the way, our broadcast schedule looks like this week. We've got Pineview at Desert Hills tomorrow night, live for you on the Fan and on the live stream. It'll be our Boulevard home game of the week. And then on Friday, we will have another really good game. How about Hurricane at Crimson Cliffs? That'll be our featured game. 2 games this week, one on Wednesday, one on Friday, both huge tilts in Region 9 boys basketball. But we'll be keeping tabs on the girls, especially with those Dixie versus 3 really good teams. Starting tonight with Snow Canyon. Thursday, Dixie's got Desert Hills. And then Saturday, Dixie and Pineview. Those are 3 big girls games this week. Cannot wait to see how that plays out. Saw an interesting article the New York Times put out, Paulie.
Yeah.
The going rate in the portal right now. Mm-hmm. And look, for a while now, over 2 years, I've been saying I don't like where college sports is headed. I don't think many people do, other than the product is still good. But all the behind the scenes, I mean, the NCAA is scared to stand their ground. They're scared of more lawsuits. It's just a mess out there, right? And I don't know if even Congress can fix this mess of college sports. I mean, is it too late to save college football, college basketball? I mean, we're coming up on another close to college football season, and it's hard for me to imagine that the game could be a bigger mess.
Yeah.
From fans to coaches to writers to radio hosts. I mean, the smartest people out there are offering sensible ways to fix it, and we don't think it's that difficult, but nobody seems to be doing anything about it. Nobody is putting a salary cap in.
Yeah.
Nobody is making players sign 2-year contracts so that they just don't take the money and they're gone the next year. There's no loyalty.
Yeah.
People making money, there's zero incentive to change anything right now.
It's just gone from one extreme to the other.
Who's in charge? That's what I want to know. Who the hell's in charge of college sports right now?
Well,
it certainly doesn't feel like the NCAA has any control anymore.
We used to hear about how the NCAA had too much control.
100%.
You heard about how Kemba Walker said the Hungry Huskies thing, like their meal plans weren't even good enough for them to gain weight and get stronger and stuff. I remember everyone's got a friend that's played college sports. I had a friend played college baseball at West Virginia for a short amount of time. And I remember him telling me about his recruiting visit. The head coach of the baseball team wasn't even allowed to pay for his lunch at Chick-fil-A, and that was a recruiting violation back in the day. Nowadays, we're
1987, SMU got the death penalty for paying their players $61,000
and some cars.
They didn't even have a season the next year.
Yeah, I know.
Nowadays, $61,000 won't even get you a long snapper on a Power 5 team.
Because the going rates, according to the New York Times, this is the cost of doing business in the portal this year. Safeties anywhere from $250K to $900K for the elite ones.
That's a wide margin.
Wide margin. Corners, $250K to $1 million. Obviously, the higher number, the elite, top of the tier players. Interior D linemen, $500K to $1.5 mil. Edge rushers, $500K to $2 mil. Tight end, $300 to $900K. Wide receiver, $500K to $1 million.
A lot of receivers out there.
A lot of receivers. Running backs, a lot of them out there, $400 to $900K. Offensive tackles, that's where you start getting a little bump there, $600K to $1.3 million. And then quarterbacks. This is an alarming number because I think even some of the bad ones are still getting on the lower end of this, $1 million to $4 million, which we heard Sorsby
$5 million.
They had a thing in Times Square, New York, just signed. Brandon Sorsby, he's reportedly getting $5 million.
Well, and they put his contract for 1 year to play quarterback for Texas Tech next to Shadur's NFL rookie fifth-round draft pick contract. And Sorsby will make less than $100,000 more than Shadur in one season compared to 4 years in the NFL. That's a problem to me.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
And like for me,
but it's the going
the
rate.
ROI
if you
thing,
want the kid, you got to pay him.
I've never really bought into the ROI thing for you. You know, these guys getting their money back on their investment. I think it's a losing investment. You're paying to win. And I think
it's a tax write-off for rich people.
If you're paying $5 million, don't you want to know the guy you're getting is pretty good? Like, I think Sorsby, I watched him lose by 40 to Utah, get beat at home by BYU, and he wasn't great in either game. And I watched him play 2 games this year. I didn't watch Sorsby play all 12 or whatever.
Okay.
But the 2 games I watched him play, he was above average. He can run. He's mobile. But downfield passing, he's just like this Morton kid for Texas Tech who couldn't throw a ball over 25 yards against Oregon.
Obviously, they're hopeful he's going to be better.
They're hopeful he's going to be
still
better.
Got eligibility.
But that's the thing. They're hopeful. There's no guarantees that this guy will be better next year.
Look, the number 1 and number 2 guys in the portal, these guys have pretty good feel for. John Mateer was the number 1 guy in the portal.
Yes.
Oh, you paid him about $4 or $5 million last year.
Yeah, and then it worked out.
It worked out. They went to the college football playoffs.
That's right.
And he missed 3 games and played through injury, and obviously had a better start to the season than finish. But still a good year for OU football. They went to the college football playoffs.
That's right. Good year for OU football.
Yeah. Look, we've seen some of the brightest young minds. I love Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State.
Yeah.
We played his quote a couple weeks ago, Paulie, and he point blank said, "We have created a mess. The whole college sports industry is a mess." Anybody working in college athletics would agree. Anybody coaching college athletics would agree. I mean, Scott Frost, the Central Florida coach, said college football is broken. Quote from Scott. I mean, you have these big personalities that are in the industry saying it's a mess and it's broken. You don't need Paul and I sitting here pounding it to death to reiterate that it's broken. I mean, Nick Saban on the McAfee show last month said college football is messed up. There's a reason he's not coaching anymore.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously issues.
I mean, and that's where, first hour, you and I was trying to make a hard sell on you for Cignetti to the NFL, to the Giants or the Raiders. I think those are the best 2 landing spots for Cignetti because Mendoza could go to the Raiders. I think that's 1. You already got Jackson Dart and a decent quarterback situation, so that would be number 2. And you're saying, no, they'll build a statue in Indiana, but maybe Cignetti's sick of college football. You don't know that. Maybe working for Mark Davis, as crazy as he might be, might not be a bad idea right now. I don't know that. I don't know that. Maybe his wife really doesn't like the weather in the winter in Indiana.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around that, but
how's the weather in Indiana versus Vegas?
It's like Hurley. I said it already with the Lakers. There's just no way he leaves. He's got such a good thing going. Why would you mess up such a good thing?
Here's where I realized college football was in a bad state. The conference realignments. When a conference like the Pac-12 crumbled and everybody was grabbing at straws and trying to get in where they fit in, that's when I went, oh, crap. Remember how heartbroken I was about the Pac-12. Remember how just disgruntled and I mean, look, you can talk about the NIL, you can talk about the transfer portal. Those are big elephants in the room. I get it. It's created an annual free agency for everybody.
Yeah.
And NIL money is what they dangle to lure players to other schools. But there's over 4,000 players in the portal right now, which opened on January 2nd and closes on January 16th. That's about 1/3 of all Division I scholarship players. That's more than double of the total numbers that play in the NFL. About 2,000 players in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay, it's players have more freedom than high school players or pro athletes in college sports. Agree or disagree? More freedom. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can.
We've got players playing for 5 schools in 5 years, and it's no big deal. Just bouncing around, chasing the money trail.
And that's what some are going to do. They're going to go like Sam Levitt. He's a JUCO guy. He clearly wants to go from JUCO to Arizona State on to, it looks like LSU, and Kentucky was in the mix for Sam Levitt. And there's no way he's going to win a national title at Kentucky. But Kentucky was the highest bidder, so he was considering them heavily, I heard. So like teams that have never been in the fold to get elite recruits and elite players.
It's an
Texas Tech.
It's an uneven playing field.
It is.
It's an uneven playing field until there's a salary cap. It's not equitable.
But the product on the field is still good.
But it's hard to get behind a team with the constant player turnover. You used to be able to go to season tickets of your favorite college institution see the same guy for 4 years, and your kids loved him, and you loved him, and you got his jersey. That doesn't happen anymore. Very rarely does a guy stay at one school for 4 years. I would love to know the number of guys from 23 to 27 that play 4 straight years for the same school. I bet it's minuscule.
Crazy that we see the re-signed photos, like in the NFL when a guy signs a contract extension or whatever. You always see the picture of the NFL player with the paper on the table, the pen and everything. But now we're seeing that with college players. I saw USC put out a post that Jordan Mailata, the quarterback, he's coming back next year. So they had a picture of him in the background that said re-sign Jordan Mailata. He's holding the pen, he's got the paper, and it's just like, when did re-signing players become a college sports thing?
Yeah. Well, the fix is easy. I've said it for months.
Yeah.
Limit players to one free portal transfer.
Sit out a year. Yeah, you got to sit.
After that, you got to sit. You got to bring that back. That will discourage it.
Yeah.
And then make players sign contracts with the school like the professionals do, and then set a salary cap. It's not that complicated. That's where we're at with this whole thing.
But then the college players will get a union. Like, there'll be steps in the other direction, too. Well, once you get them contracts and they become employees, there'll be a union. There'll be a lot of things.
But there's no loyalty. I would rather have, when a school makes a financial commitment to a player, he should make a loyalty commitment back to the school. And there's none of that right now. These are mercenaries just going to the highest bidder, and that doesn't sit well with me. And everybody knows it. And the big schoolers are swooping in with their big war chests of money. And the FCS kids, the best players on all these FCS teams, are top 4 or 5 are gone every year because they're getting no NIL money or very little. They're getting sizable pay raises. And I don't blame them. They were overlooked, under-recruited, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, pretty much every NIL agency out there charges 20%. Do you know what agents in the NFL get? Now, contracts are lucrative. We're talking about $100 million contracts, but they get like 3 or 4%.
Yeah.
NIL agencies in college are taking 20% right now. They've found a niche to shuffle these players, and they're making bones over it.
Wow.
Big money. 20%.
I wasn't aware of the agencies cut.
It's a money grab. And look, until somebody fixes it, it's going to continue. Yeah, the standard for agents is usually like 3, 4, 5%.
Yeah.
I'm hearing these college NIL agencies are taking 20% of these kids' money. So they're taking advantage of the kids. The kids are taking advantage of the schools.
I think NIL agencies and these firms that are sprouted up overnight to be agents, handlers, whatever you want for these kids, I think it is a scam. It's a money grab, for the agencies.
And then the college football format. Like, why can't we just go to the FCS format, please?
Yeah. Oh, the playoff.
Yeah.
24 team thing and all that.
Like the FCS. That was a great game last night. The national. Did you watch Montana State?
It'll extend the season out way too long.
Bulls are already toast. Who cares? Did you? You didn't call me once and say, dude, it's the Fiesta Bowl. Let's get some popcorn and some coldies and go.
This week.
The Rose Bowl. It's the
Rose Bowl was
Bowl.
last week. I watched it.
I know, but my point is nobody's like, oh my gosh, it's the blank bowl. We got to watch it no matter who's playing. Nobody cares. People care about their team. They don't care about the bowl. The Bulls are done.
I've got something to
you can't
go the other way.
You can't change my mind. Paul, you've never once said, oh my gosh, I'm so. You used to be, it's the granddaddy of them all. It's the Rose Bowl. It's the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. It's going to be great. And people would go to the Rose Bowl parade and they would go watch the game, and it was a tradition. And they'd go with their friends and family.
Guess what it was?
That doesn't happen anymore. You're going to watch your team, not
You're
the
wrong,
bowl game.
Because Ross Dellinger on Twitter, very reliable source, writing for college football for Yahoo Sports, he put out the most watched bowl games on ESPN networks. And ESPN reports non-CFP bowl viewership, non-CFP, this is non-playoff games, is up 13% from last year, viewership on the bowl games. And guess what the number one watched non-CFP bowl game was?
BYU.
8.7 million people watched the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yeah,
that was more than any NBA playoff game last year, including the finals.
Yeah. No,
so
the
people
product,
like it.
The product is still there. Like, that was a great bowl game. BYU, great comeback, great win.
It was.
The product is still good.
That's right.
Is still good.
It's not just that one.
It's all the other stuff that nobody can choke on. Nobody can
Pinstripe
handle.
Bowl, 7.6 million. The Tax Slayer Bowl, 6
But it's not
million.
because the Pinstripe Bowl went out and marketed so well, and that it's that bowl game. It's the teams in it.
Teams.
You sub BYU out for somebody else, and it's not as big a brand. That game does not get that rating. It's the teams.
The Hawaii Bowl had its best rating since
Great
2013.
Game. Great game, but nobody said, I can't wait to watch the Hawaii Bowl. You're missing my point. I'm not saying people don't watch it because of the teams, but they're not watching it because that bowl game was the bowl game they grew up watching. It has conference relationship with their team, and their teams play. Like the Las Vegas Bowl, Utah's played a bunch of times. It wasn't even a sellout. Not even close.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Not even close.
And it wasn't one of the top 10 most watched bowls.
Yeah.
But
Well,
other
it was 44
bowls,
to 22 too.
Other bowls were very appealing to at least the American public.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the ratings are the ratings. More people, less people traveling for the holidays maybe this year.
13%
airline prices
up.
high. A lot of variables there, Paulie. A lot of variables. All right, Paulie, rate the show today.
9.5.
9.5?
9.5,
Oh,
yeah. That's right.
Okay, well, a little room for improvement tomorrow. We'll be back, same time, same place. It's The Drive from the Finley Hyundai Studios. Have a good Tuesday, everybody.